Hey guys, Tyler Ansman here with Tyler Ansman Performance. So today we're going to talk about how we train qualities instead of specific movements, okay? So I think one of the questions that we get a lot from athletes is, should I Olympic lift? Should I bench press, right? Should I trap bar or straight bar deadlift? Is back squatting okay? All of these things. And they're reasonable questions because they've seen things about this all over the place or maybe heard things from their coaches or all of the above. But I think one of the important things to kind of recognize is that these questions shouldn't be the starting point, but they're a later step in the conversation, all right? So when we assess athletes, we're looking at a few things. How do they compare to their peers in similar age, training age, and velocity ranges? What's holding them back? What makes them special and is something we want to make sure we kind of lean into or that we don't lose? What's the health history, injury history situation? Do they have any red flags we want to make sure we're aware of? What's their training history, right? Have they trained anywhere before? Is it a coach we know? Is it a coach who's been attached to specific types of movements, right? That all of their athletes Olympic lift, right? None of their athletes bench press, right? All of these, they only do the power lifts, something along those lines. Do they have anything they absolutely love or they hate, right? There's like a non-negotiable they always want to see in the program, or maybe something that they never want to see in the program. These are important things to consider. Once we know all of that, we can plan for the qualities we want to address and understand our timelines and their other demands, right? Are they playing multiple sports? What's their practice situation? What's their academic load, right? All of these kinds of, when do they need to be ready for the season or a showcase or a pro day, whatever it might be. And so, then we can determine the means once we understand that. So like a 10-year big leaguer, healthy, loves Olympic lifts, great. Let's include it, but let's make sure we define the parameters, right? Of load, velocity, all of those things to kind of get our desired adaptation, all right? Another guy, maybe he's a flat T-spine guy who's got a history of shoulder pathology. Is a ton of barbell benching for this guy a great idea? Maybe not. Maybe more free scapular pressing movements that can drive protraction a bit better and those kinds of things, kind of work on that relationship of the scapula and the ribcage can be a bit better, but this doesn't mean no benching, right? Maybe it means relatively lower volume and frequency, or maybe it means different implements, like dumbbells, for example. And then the accessories can be focused on protraction kind of around that to still drive that adaptation, right? The point is there's a lot of ways to ultimately get where we're going and get athlete buy-in, keep them maximally healthy, do all these things. No movement is good or bad, right? The prescription kind of dictates that. And so I think these are things that we want to think about. We don't use a ton of Olympic lifts with our athletes, but it's not because they're bad, it's just because there's often kind of simpler ways to get there. And if Olympic lifting isn't your sport, right, are we going to take up a lot of our time kind of, building the technical capabilities to kind of drive that and all the other things that go along with that? Like, probably not. But again, if somebody comes in already technically sound, they love it, they're healthy, all those kinds of things, maybe it's something we consider, all right? And so bench press kind of falls into that. Fill in the lift here kind of falls into that category, right? Is there room for it in the program? Are they healthy enough? Can we still get to our adaptation without adding a ton of excess fatigue that we just don't need, right? Does it serve our purposes? And then we can build the plan from there. But we want to understand first principles and build out the plan from there rather than, hey, everybody's going to bench, squat, deadlift, hang clean, and we're going to fill in the gaps around that. Like, no, other way around, all right? Feel free to drop any questions or comments below. If you're interested in remote training, feel free to reach out to us via email, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.